Hey everyone, so AI bassists are officially here. And no, I'm not just talking about things like Suno that can generate bass lines, I'm actually talking about fully AI generated personas that put out bass videos just like me. What does this mean for human bassists? Let's take a look at some of these AI bassists and see how realistic they are.
Can it be that you love the most unlovable part of me?
Alright, so there's a lot of problems with this one. First of all, the cable is hanging in front of the strings, which is literally the worst possible way to do that. So just from that, you can immediately tell this is fake. Also, the rhythm in the plucking hand, it has literally nothing to do with the rhythm of the bass line.
Can it be that you love the most
I can't see her hands all the time, but it would sound something a bit more like this. The E string actually disappears at one point, which I've got to say is a pretty cool trick, but I'm not sure it would be the best thing for the sound. And the last thing I'll say about this is that the fretboard really looks like it's been relicked quite heavily, maybe a little bit too much. Alright, not a great start. Let's take a look at the next one.
to be free? It's amazing with you. I win even at this. Everything's working for my good for always. Come on, he's crazy. He will come through.
Alright, so I think this is the same song, but the bass line actually looks quite different. Again, nothing about what she's doing with her hands matches the rhythm or the pitch of the bass line at all. There's a lot of points where the bass is playing and she's not plucking or even moving her fretting hand. It looks like AI can now do the correct number of strings, which I've got to say is a step up, but the fret markers are completely off. If you'll notice on my bass and literally every bass, after these two dots, which represents the octave, you have two frets with no dots, and then you have the next fret with one dot. Whereas on this bass, you have the two dots, then you have one with no dot, and then you have one with a dot, which is not how it is, and then you have one with a dot again. So unless this is just a very special, unique bass, then AI still really can't replicate numbers of dots, I guess. I've got to say the body movements and the facial expressions are actually more realistic than I was expecting. There's also something really weird going on with the strap. In one shot, the strap looks pretty good and normal, but then in this shot, the strap is just kind of disappeared from her shoulder and it starts like here. Alright, this is actually the most realistic one so far. The movements in the right hand are actually matching up with the rhythm of the song, which is a huge step up from the previous AI video. Let's check if what he's playing in the left hand actually matches up though. So he's playing fret 7 on the A string, it looks like. But what we're hearing is this. So unless he's tuned down to D standard, which I'm guessing he's probably not, that's not very common, then this is not right. But I've got to say, he's at least slapping-ish in his right hand, and that's the technique we're hearing, so that's correct. I think, by the way, this is one of those videos where there was actually a real player playing it initially, and then they've just imposed this, like, JD Vance meme character on top of it. Okay, so his fingers are in roughly the right spot, but he's actually one fret away, unfortunately. He should be going up to fret 5, because that's D, so it should be like this. But this is what he's actually playing. Listen to how terrible this is going to sound. But at least the rhythms are right. At least he's doing fingerstyle in the right hand, and you hear fingerstyle, and at the beginning you heard slap, and he was doing slap. I've got to say though, it looks like JD's left hand could do with a little bit of work. His pinky is really flying off the fingerboard sometimes, and that's just a classic beginner/intermediate fingerstyle technique mistake. If I had to guess, I'd say that he definitely did not download my effortless speed pack, which teaches you how to play fast fingerstyle bass lines with ease. In 15 minutes, he could have fixed all his technique issues by practicing exercises that eliminate the bad habits that every beginner and intermediate bassist has. But luckily, you don't have to make the same mistake. Just slap the link in the description to get the effortless speed pack for free and have fun playing fast. Okay, so I know for sure that this one was originally a real bassist because this is my video. I have actually already seen this video. A lot of people tagged me in it. I've got to say, it's pretty weird to see a video like this where it's originally me and then they've like superimposed JD Vance on me. And I noticed that the creator did actually tag me on Instagram. They actually invited me to be a collaborator on this reel, which I rejected. But here on YouTube, there's absolutely no mention of me at all. This is kind of a bad trend, I think, in social media these days, where people just use other people's content with absolutely zero credit. That spinning neck video that I did, there was someone on TikTok who just re-uploaded it and had these like generic reaction faces, and his video got like 15 million views. And it's not just me that this happens to. There's plenty of other bassists that get this kind of AI treatment done to them. I know just from hearing it that this one's Vincent Garcia, and I would be willing to bet that Vincent was not contacted about this reel. So he probably just opened up his phone one day and then saw JD Vance playing his bass line. I gotta say though, just this video is hilarious because he's slapping up here. I guess AI bassists are just on a whole other level of magic and sorcery that they can just slap up here and it still sounds amazing. Again, there's no mention of Vincent in the description, and in the comments, no one seems to realize that this is Vincent. So overall, these videos were not great. I get that using AI in this way is kind of funny sometimes. There's a lot of actually potentially very bad outcomes from using AI in music, like things like de-skilling, where musicians essentially train themselves to not be able to play their instruments or write music anymore because they just use AI all the time. This has already been shown to happen in medicine and other fields. And Adam Neely actually has an amazing video on kind of the ethics of AI usage in music. Put a link to that in the description. I highly recommend checking it out. My personal prediction for AI in music is that most instrumental music fans are going to reject it. I think pop music that relies more on tried and tested formulas is actually more at risk. And in general, pop music fans don't care quite as much about how the music is made. So I definitely recognize the risks of AI, and I'm not going to be complacent about it. But I am pretty optimistic about the future of humans in instrumental music. But this will definitely require streaming and social media companies to be much stricter about labeling which videos and songs have been made using AI. In the meantime though, make sure to subscribe to your favorite human musicians, whether that's me or someone else you enjoy. And if you really want to play fast, make sure to download the effortless speed pack in the description. Thanks so much for watching, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.